Good afternoon. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting another company update from Trigon Metals, which trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol TM. Joining me today, we have President and CEO Jed Richardson. Jed, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Megan. Thanks.
So, Jed, for those new to your story, can you give us just a brief overview of Trigon Metals?
Sure. Trigon is focused on copper production. We've got our main asset in Namibia, the Combat Mine, but we're also exploring in Morocco, and really we see it as two really high quality jurisdictions and places that will ultimately become a big, important part of copper production for a world that's going to need a lot more copper.
Absolutely. And we have had you on a number of times for updates from your flagship combat mine in Namibia, like you said. But today I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into your Silver Hill project in Morocco, which is relatively unknown at this stage. Now, firstly, let's talk about the jurisdiction. For those not familiar with mining in Morocco, can you give us an overview of the mining and exploration environment and some of the success stories in the region?
You know what? Our main asset, you're right. Silver Hill is lesser known, but it's really something that gets us excited. And even prior to our startup at Combat, Silver Hill was something that was getting some market attention before we shifted to start up the Combat Mine. Just to locate you, so it's a map of most of Morocco. The capital is Rabat, but most people will know Casablanca. So I'll just kind of point that out here. So our project, Silver Hill, this is on the Sahara side of the Atlas Mountains. So the Atlas Mountains run right through the country here, and where we're exploring is what we call the Anti-Atlas. Morocco is really a fantastic mining jurisdiction. Geologically, it is related to more related to Spain and Portugal than it is the rest of Africa. And it's interesting because it's one of the few places you find big silver deposits. However, it is a huge phosphate producer. I think has something like 2/3 of the world's phosphate reserves. And I'd say what's interesting is that phosphate makes the phosphate mines in Morocco are actually the most valuable mines in all of Africa. So to put that in context, you know that Africa is the source of so many amazing resources, but those phosphate mines are actually more valuable than anything else on the continent. And why I say that is the country has been almost spoiled by its riches in phosphate, and the base metal resources, the gold, the silver, and of course copper, lead, and the rest are really underexplored because of it. And that's really the opportunity that we have at Trigon, being in there. One of the few North American listed companies exploring in there. So what is known, so many people, that's, sorry, it's not Imiter, sorry, Zgounder, which is the mine for Aya Gold and Silver. Then Imiter, which is one of the world's largest silver mines, by a company called Managem, a big kind of state-owned miner in Morocco. And then here's our project, Silver Hill. Silver Hill is just about 150 kilometers from Imiter. It is almost directly adjacent to Aya's Boumadine project, which is just north of us. And we think we've already made a really, really interesting discovery here. So we started off by doing some sampling, and we immediately got some good results. And we ended up buying a local prospecting company that we own 100%. There's no carried interest and no royalties. Like I said, we initially started doing some sampling, got some great grab samples, and got an idea of what was going on. We identified the whole project by ancient workings on the site, so some old shafts, old adits into the side of the hills there, and then old slag piles, like slag piles dating over 600 years. We were getting in our grab samples, some of them were coming back, like 7% copper with hundreds of grams of silver. We think what they were mining here was silver, and that's why the project was called Silver Hill. But it's turning into a copper project. I think by value, it's about 65% copper, 35% silver, and then we also get some byproduct cobalt. We did some drilling in 2021, and we drilled an area to the west side of the project here, and we got some great results, like 5 meters at 1.4% copper, 33.6 grams per ton silver. We got 8 meters at 1.8% copper, 121 grams per ton silver, and all relatively close to surface. We continue to get good results along this trend. That's about 600 meters of strike length that we were working on. We also identified this trench about 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers away from this area where we were drilling the trench here, and that was the best result we got on the property. So this is right at surface, just trenching along the surface. We got 13 meters, 2.7% copper, 34.5 grams per ton silver, and what works out to 0.082 kilograms of cobalt. So an interesting third product that was coming in that mineralization. Over the last year, while we were focused at Combat, we did do some geophysics work, and this is the first kind of remote sensing that we had done. And it was really eye-opening. Firstly, it started showing we were looking to connect that area where we had drilled to the area where we had trenched, and which would have given us 2.5 kilometers of strike length. We thought that would be fantastic. What we ended up with is an anomaly over 4 kilometers long, 1.5 kilometers wide. The area where we drilled, I'm going to try and circle that on the map, is just in here. Our trench is just over here. What's really intriguing about that is those aren't the strongest anomalies on the property. It looks like there's a really strong anomaly this way, but what could ultimately be similar mineralization to what we're seeing, or maybe even higher grade. So this project is is something we're going to be working on in the fall, and firstly testing these strong chargeability anomalies, and look to see what we've got here at Silver Hill. To put that in context, our whole Combat project is about 4 kilometers long, and we can see that this anomaly goes end to end and extends off the edges of our property. So right now we're working with the Moroccan government to consolidate the land around us, and we're getting drilling going on these targets here.
All right. So you sound very busy. And to finish things off, could you give us a broad overview from the company and what investors can look for from both Combat and Silver Hill in the future?
Sure. Right now, like we've got production paused at Combat with the way copper's behaved over the last 3 months. And so we've turned our efforts to drilling out open pittable resources there. So you'll see regular results out of Combat, really adding new mineralization, adding new resource along the surface for open pit mining when we get back started. And then this fall we'll start off our drilling here at Silver Hill, initially just targeting these anomalies, but then we'll do a broader program to really get an idea of how far the mineralization extends. Like I said, we've been working with the Moroccan government. The land around us is unclaimed, so there's no one with those titles. There's a slow process though in getting reallocation of permits. So we're in that process with them, and we're hoping that there's a reallocation that includes the areas around Silver Hill this October. So that's something to look out for. And then beyond that, we've got our silver streaming deal that we've announced. So the definitive on that is on its way, and I think that'll be a really good catalyst for us. And yeah, and then we'll be looking forward to the restart of production and hopefully stronger copper prices in the new year.
Well, then we'll definitely have to have you on in the near future to talk about all of those updates. Thank you so much, Jed, and we will talk to you next time.
Great. Good talking to you, Megan.